Effective education has never been more important than it is today. The Brexit debate about leaving the European Union has exposed some of the divisions in our society, politically polarising the nation, raising questions about race, religion and migration. The tragic death of MP and equalities campaigner Jo Cox and the UN Special Rapporteur 2018 report on race in the UK highlighted the need for an open and honest national conversation about the kind of society we live in. The spike in hate crimes during the 2016 referendum recorded as 58% increase in the number of crimes compared with the same period in 2015, pointed to a toxic racist narrative in politics that had legitimised hate. We find ourselves in a post-truth political world where it's hard to tell the difference between facts and political spin. This has implications for democracy, intercultural relations and for education. Edge Hill University Faculty of Education in partnership with Knowledge to Action believe that this is a pressing need to provide educational alternatives that equip young people to make sense of the muddled conversations about race and religion. In this film, we address 3 key questions. What are the challenges facing young people and educators in post-referendum Britain? Can we develop a model for practice that is authentic, pragmatic and offers an educational alternative based on mutual respect? What are the educational outcomes of an approach based on respect, encounter and inquiry? This film offers a snapshot in response to these questions through a case study of 2 schools and 2 communities, only 25 miles apart, in the same county, Lancashire.
I think one of the problems facing young people today is that there's a muddled national conversation about religion, often mired in anxieties about violence, world events, terror for example. That's very problematic, and as educators I feel it's part of our role to create truly educational spaces for encounter, for dialogue, for discussion.
Much education today is monumentally ineffective. All too often we are giving young people cut flowers when we should be really teaching them to grow their own plants. The words of the late John W. Gardner have inspired us here at Knowledge to Action to put learners in the driving seat and let them develop through experiential learning. This way we see young people taking responsibility for their learning, for their futures, pushing the boundaries of their comfort zones and discovering new oceans. I believe giving young people opportunities to experience, to explore, to ask the questions, the right questions to the right people is sometimes far more important than trying to find the right answers. One of our flagship projects at Knowledge to Action is the MeWe Cultural Schools Exchange Initiative, where we bring together young people from opposite ends of the social cultural spectrum to learn about the other in a safe, open space. This social experiment is truly remarkable in that you can see real transformation in young people just after a few hours of interaction.
We are developing alternatives to this bipolar vision, exploring differences, asking questions, stimulate curiosity, young people, young citizens sharing values, beliefs, friendship, establishing commonalities, creating dialogue. 2 Lancashire schools break barriers and come together in a safe and open space.
Differences can really be resolved if we communicate better, really ask questions and reflect really on why are we today dealing with some of the issues that are highlighted in the media and how can we better resolve them. It's been a really good day that Luton students have had the chance to look at Abrar Academy, what they do, have experienced prayer and heard lots of different views about Islam and about stories from the past.
The young children are sharing interfaith dialogue together. We're doing a lot of myth busting, things that we learn in the classroom, but actually this has brought it to reality. The students have really enjoyed the day. They've got a lot out of the day that they can take back to their school, also their local community, and share what they have learnt. It's been a great day for sharing with each other our values and what are important to us in our faith.
What a Christian would believe and what a Muslim would believe, it's like they all follow the same values of compassion, equality, you know, helping others. Even if beforehand you've had views like where maybe you've thought things like, oh well, is Islam like a threat or something like that, you can realise that it's not, and that we're all the same in a way. It doesn't matter what you believe, what you follow. It's certain things will change, like the way you look or things like that, but it's at the end of the day we do all follow the same sort of ideas of living, and we all work towards the same goal in a sense.
I think it's great for curriculum knowledge because you're learning from actual believers what they believe themselves, which I think is the best way to learn about beliefs in the world.
People tend to focus on what isn't the same, so people tend to focus on the different parts, but it's like the more you realise that you actually have more in common, the less parts there are that are different.
I think the main takeaway from today was to make ourselves as Muslims more approachable for the general students who don't really come into contact with Muslims, and from people that have experienced Muslims firsthand. So obviously they feel more comfortable to approach a Muslim and ask them questions. So obviously it was the same for us as well. We wanted to ask them questions about their religion, how their life and way of life is different to ours.
The MeWe initiative teaches us that we actually learn more about ourselves when we have the courage to think and learn about others.
It's also giving the opportunity to young people and teachers themselves to reclaim the curriculum, to give some sort of drive and direction to learning. And I think there's no substitute for encounter, for experiential learning, for friendship. I mean, it's great seeing people having a laugh together, sharing food together, for that sort of hospitality. Nothing more powerful and potent than that to bring people together.
So what are the next steps? 1. Our aspiration is to take this approach beyond the pilot stage to facilitate further intercultural faith encounters where religion is seen as normal, mainstream, part of our democracy and part of the debate. 2. Build a network with like-minded professional, communities and policy makers. 3. Build a pragmatic model of educational practice where experiential learning, discussion and debate provide an alternative narrative to media indoctrination and a resource to navigate conflicting truth claims. Dr. Norman Richardson, talking about the value of religious education in creating encounter, sums up the aspirations of our work. Like any area of education, religious education should help people to think, to develop critical skills, to be open, to engage in dialogue. RE teaching goes beyond the imparting of knowledge. There must be time for meeting, for discussion, for reflection. Where possible, this should involve students from different backgrounds together, not separately.